and welcome to round 4 of the Octane Online Racing Simagic Spec Series here at Oulton Park. We have a combined split tonight of both split yellow and split green, which means we've combined our commentators as well. My name is Alexis Bowen, and joining me tonight is Connor Hind. How are you, Connor?
Good, Alexis. Good, and good day, chat. Good day, everyone.
Here, Connor. We also have Brad Cook in the commentary box. How are you, Brad?
Not too bad, Alexis. Great to be here for some Jag action.
Yes, the Jag. That will be very nice. And unfortunately, the disappointment is immeasurable and the day is ruined as Mitchell Christopher Hobbs is unable to make it tonight due to an errant hailstorm and power outage. As we think, oh, that's a probably sound that Jag there. But instead, we have the brilliant sounds of Mr. Scrubbleman himself, Cameron Thistlethwaite. How are you, Cam?
I'm very well, thank you, Alexis. Thank you for having me in place of Mitch. Unfortunately, his internet power has gone out due to a hailstorm, but lovely to be here at the bouncy castle that is Oulton Park.
Yes, it is certainly quite the bouncy track, and in this Jag, oh, as you can see there from Benjamin Hickman, who drifts it around the corner there at Hislops.
Yeah, definitely not the line Ben. You probably want to rethink your approach to that corner. Pretty disappointed, I must say.
Letting the car go there, oh dear, that's very treacherous. Of course, this track is not the widest in the world.
I'm honestly expecting a good showing from Ben tonight. We know how much he loves his Jag. Could say it's his favourite car in the whole game.
I mean, you're pronouncing it wrong. You have to pronounce it as the Jag. Elongate it out.
How many A's are we taking in that one?
17.
Very nice.
But, a few AM-class drivers up there doing reasonably well. I'm not sure where they are AM-class drivers proper or no. I don't know. But either way, they're up there.
Leobel is not an AM, and nor, I believe, is Keys.
Oh, there you go.
And also to include Cicluna and Johnson, they are definitely not AMs. Ben Deek, I think some people would say he is an AM based on his livery choices, based on his normal Calypso-coloured Lamborghini he likes to run in sprints.
Yeah, no, Ben Dyke certainly has some interesting choices when it comes to liveries. If you look at Liam Taplin, currently sitting in P9.
I'm sure we'll all be very excited. Oulton Park notoriously difficult to get through the first few corners without incident. I believe I've only seen once or twice it happen without no yellow flags or safety cars, but we shall see where we get tonight.
Yeah, just touching on that, we were actually, myself and Connor were watching some Australia dash cam footage just to get ourselves up to snuff with commentating on some footage of cars crashing, but Taplin just crossing the line, moves up to P9. Looking to improve again on this lap.
Yeah, I mean, we were. It was some good racecraft in that footage as well. I want to ask you guys as well. Do we have, for the Jag, has anyone actually driven it in the comments box? Can you enlighten a few of the viewers on, like, you know, some characteristics of the car, how it handles, how it feels?
It has been ages since I've driven the Jag, so I wouldn't be able to have a proper say on it.
It doesn't really handle. It's very fast in a straight line, and you sort of just chuck it through the corners and really hope for the best. That's sort of what you do with it. As you can see on board with Luke Johnson, just throwing the wheel around, trying to get the thing to rotate. Currently a 10th up, has got a bit of time with this far right-hander. Looks like he's a bit wide on the first apex, but he had the second one. Unfortunately losing time on exit there. Has he got anything into the final corner? No, it doesn't look like it on this lap.
I mean, that final corner is hard to execute in pretty much any car you throw at it.
Like the others, I say I haven't driven it in a very, very long time as well, but I do recall it has awful brakes from that time as well.
Awful brakes, awful TC, awful ABS, terrible suspension, but a bloody great engine.
That's all you need.
And it's got a Jag on the side as well.
It does have a very good note as we drop on board with Benny Bittner. He's definitely not an AM. He's 4/10 up, pushing up to, I don't really know the corner names around here, but let's see if he hits the apex on this kind of double. Oh, through Druids there.
How's the lock on the steering there to get that thing to turn?
Druids and up to the last corner, which I believe is Lodge corner, followed by the gentle left, which is Deer Leap. As ever with many old British tracks, it has got very peculiar names.
Ooh. When 005 off Jack Steele. So I'm expecting some of the faster guys to maybe drop into the low 34s. I reckon that's probably possible, but I guess we'll see. Any predictions for pole tonight, guys?
34.532.
It's almost like you wrote the script.
Yes. Well, there's Ruckmart with a 34.685, so it's getting closer to that point.
With only less than 4 minutes to go, I will echo and say a 35 in general, but it might be even a bit of a stretch for our pros at this rate.
I'll go a 34.3, and I reckon the GDR god himself, Lucas Burst, will put it on pole.
It's a good call, not too far away from being a GTR, this car, I will say.
Definitely has quite a few unique similarities.
Although I'm hoping, as I'm in the GTR for the normal sprint BOP split tomorrow, I'm hoping my time in GTR goes a lot better than it would be in a Jaguar, to say the least. Although the Nissan has actually had some pretty good history around here. It's been one of those few stronger tracks due to its ability to take certain curves and ferocious acceleration.
So we ride on.
Whoa!
We ride on
GDR
board with
man.
Lucas Burst, the GDR man, and we have a fellow commentator in Cameron who is a man of culture. He's up 3/10, so we'll see how he goes coming on for the rest of the lap as he fires down into, absolutely eats that first chicane.
Just had a quick question in the Twitch chat from Bowden about how long the race is this evening. Believe we are running a 60-minute race with 2 mandatory pit stops, if I'm not mistaken.
Still just hovering on that 3.5 tenths mark. That should get him probably on the first row, I'd say. I'll be pretty close to the first row. He's found some extra time, but knowing Kunos, Delta is probably going to drop down to about the 3/10, maybe 2.5. Oh, only P5. That's very tight for the top 5. Less 1/10 between first and fifth.
And he made a slight mistake just going into turn 1 on his next lap, so he might have to quickly go around and go for one more attempt. So we look now at Sakuno, who is up by about 6.5 tenths of a second as he goes into the final part of this very tricky racetrack.
Absolutely. As said before, 2 mandatory pit stops at this track. It is very hard on tyres and very easy to get pressure losses as a result of the almost sawtooth curbs that we have here.
That was a bit deep there at Lodge. He's lost a lot of time on the exit. He's going to stay about 4.5 tenths up and moves up into P10.
There are a lot of tracks with very tough last corners where you can throw the whole lap away, and I believe this is one of the hardest on the whole calendar of every track that we go to.
Absolutely. There are a lot of fast drivers a bit down the order, but it's combining these 2 splits is actually made for quite a stacked grid as well. You just see all these high quality drivers just within the top 15 itself. So I'm expecting it by the end of this quali session to all be pretty tight just to even get into the top 10.
Certainly will be. I mean, right now separating P1 and P9 is about 0.4 of a second. There's a little bit of a gap between P9 and P10, but generally it's very competitive. Ruckman and Johnson are in the pits. They're done. We're looking now at Steele, who is currently a 10th down on his best time.
4/10 for Keys. Wow, this is going to be a mega lap if you can finish it off. Coming
Keys.
down to the final corner. He'll be clenching those cheeks hard, making sure he keeps within the track limits, gets the power down nicely, loses a little bit on exit, but should still get him pole. What a lap.
34. Well done, as he throws it in the wall in celebration, as you do. He should be very proud of that. That is the fastest time by 2/10 for Lucas Keys.
Super time. Here is Nissan man Lucas Burrs, who is currently going through the very tricky slops. He's up about 0.3 of a second. This is going to be very tight. If he gets a really nice run through this final sector, he might be able to challenge Keys.
Just look at him actually throwing the car. It's like half sideways, half in that slip angle kind of slide. As he comes through Druids, he nails both apexes. Again, oh, he's just hovering on the time here.
It's going to be very, very tight. What's it like at the final corner at Lodge? The exit is good. It's dropping slightly. This is going to be super, super tight. Burrs might just have this though, and he does. 18 thousandths of a second.
Well done.
He did it.
Wow.
He did it. What a lap.
What a qualifying session.
Yeah, hats off to Lucas Burrs. Oh, we have rain. Oh, we have rain.
The content gods have smiled upon us. Bendo will be beaming. We have rain.
Currently, though, the track condition seems to only be damp. Ooh. And it's going to get worse, though, so these drivers are going to have to definitely start on the wet tyres, but...
Yeah, what's going to happen beyond that 30-minute mark is anyone's guess, but I mean, we've all been dealing with a lot of wet running after Spa, so I imagine if it's still raining at that 30-minute mark, it's most likely going to be wet for the remainder of the race, and we all know how to make these wet tyres last now.
And the track is already wet, so there is no question about it now.
Absolutely, especially with 2 mandatory tyre stops, there'll be plenty of options going forward if it dries up, but I reckon it won't for a very, very long time.
Here's the thing, too. So at a track like this, it's tight, it's windy, easy to make mistakes. Yeah, add wet weather on top of that. We've got 2 stops for tyres. Do you run longer and perform your stops towards the end to achieve that overcut, or do you perform the undercut?
Yeah, look, I would. I mean, if you're qualified out of position, you'd definitely go for the early stop, I'd say, and then just do a long run and hope that maybe the track dries out towards the end. You can bolt on some slicks and get a cheap stop that way, but I guess if you're at the front, it's too risky to stop early. You want to wait till later in the race, otherwise you get buried in the pack.
The undercut is very powerful here, as it is not easy to pass, so if you've definitely got pace, you will definitely be looking at it, especially given the flexibility you have with the mandatory stops required. Definitely plenty of opportunities to end lap 1 with a damaged car as well at this track. It's gonna be tit for tat all the way through the field, and hopefully we can have all 29 runners reach the end of lap 1.
Now, was there a bit of a thing going on here with coordinating the colours for the grid? Because I'm seeing really just 2 different options. Is that it? Okay.
Yep.
Is it the split colours?
Ah, yes,
I
the
believe
split
so.
colours. Yep.
Yes.
There we go. We have a proper split yellow versus a split green night tonight then. Split area for the win.
lots of different shades as well, with some questionable accenting, I will say. Lots of pink I'm seeing. Nothing wrong with pink, but with yellow and green, it's not my first choice.
Yeah, no, I very much like pink, but probably not so much with yellow and green as the base colors.
I feel like someone missed the memo there.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's a few that missed the memo.
I think there's 2, maybe even 3 missed the memo with that one, or whether they just wanted to get noticed on the broadcast. I believe we do have an Emile Frey livery as well as a purple and black one towards the end.
Now, Lucas Burr's team name again this week is ABS Broke. Do we think he's running 0 ABS in the Jag as well this week?
Yes. His ABS is broken, therefore he just has no ABS.
Yeah, that's fair.
ABS just broke.
It broken.
So usually we try and guess which lap the safety car will be called. I imagine
Lap
it's probably
1.
better to guess which corner the safety car will be called by.
Before turn 1. Before. The straight.
12
So-
fucking meters.
Turn 2.
Iconic as always.
Definitely will be people going side by side through turn 2, which is always a scary, as it's a downhill side right-hand king into the long left-hander.
And the other
You know.
thing to just throw in the mix here is not many people in here will be used to driving the Jag, and once you're side by side with other cars, you really need that muscle memory, and I don't think anyone in this field will have the muscle memory for the Jag at this point.
I think even half of these people want to race against people, half of the other people as well, bearing in mind we are combining the splits, so you definitely have to have your wits about you as we roll up. They'll be going double file around about now, coming into the last corner.
So here we go then, it will be Burrs from Keys, then Ruckmat, Johnson, Steele, Vintner, Hill, Bell, Ty and Cicluna. Your top 10, it is Split Yellow versus Split Green for the Simagic Spec Series tonight. 1 hour at a wet Oulton Park and we are underway. Green flag racing. Burrs has gotten a good start from the front and he seemed to be getting ahead. There was a little bit of 3-1 action further back. There's contacts there between Keys and Ruckmat. They keep going though, it's just a little bit there. Seems all the drivers managed to navigate turn 1 okay. Now through Denton, this is where it can get really, really tight. Keys trying to hold up the inside Ruckmat and manages to do so. Now that opens the door for Johnson. Can Johnson maybe get a little bit of the slipstream? No, he's going to have to back out of it for now. But so far, these drivers have been very, very, very well behaved as they ride through this very tricky left hair and into the heavy braking zone into the hairpin at Shell's corner. It's very easy just to get a little bit of a tap on the rear as the car of Steele behind Johnson is very, very close there. They managed to avoid contact for the moment. Now there's the contact. Johnson is around.
Yeah.
Spoke too soon as Johnson
that's
goes
close
around.
there as well.
And
Just
he'll
gotta
have
watch
to
the whole
wait.
field. Yeah, watch the whole field go through.
Red light for you. Wait until the whole field pass go as Garrett is sending it up
Aaron,
the
that is
inside.
nice.
Oh, that's that is a move.
Ended up going a bit better than I expected.
Yep. It looks
As
like
there was-
everyone was aware of what was happening and just opened the steering up and avoided contact. Better for your race in the long run. But what a start by Burrs. Already built a half-second gap, and then between Rushmat and Vincent are already at a 2-second gap. So looks like the top 3 have bolted away.
Well, you
The
did
trigger
also have
now
that
damped
instant
as well.
earlier.
So just everyone else just tripping over each other. But now it's up to Vincent to just get his head down and try and close that gap back up to the top 3.
It'll be kind of a bit of a difficult task because both Burst and Rashman are very good in wet weather conditions and able to navigate the car to its absolute apex capacity.
As it looks like we've had all 29 cars get around the lap without too much of an incident. There were a few yellows, but no one has remotely been spun around, apart from Johnson, unfortunately, but it looks like he has been able to rejoin the tail end of the field.
Yeah, it was maybe just a little bit unlucky there to get the contact from behind from Steele. I reckon the stewards will be looking at that one.
It looked like it wasn't a whole heap of contact, but it was just, as you say, just enough to spin the car around. But I just want to say, boo! There wasn't enough Oulton carnage. Boo!
Don't worry, the sprint series is tomorrow night.
Yep, definitely 2 more opportunities for first lap carnage. As I believe the track was where we started, it's now reverted to damp as we've got 29 Jags all circulating around, maybe trying that line as a little wide for Kimmon's going to compromise his entry as I speak, as the car behind us, Taplin takes an opportunity and goes along the inside, but he'll be on the outside now around the wall of death on the edge, right up to the line, and it looks like he has managed to get ahead. Perseverance. And he's getting
as
he goes off. And, no, we got another goal.
That was a jump
everyone
scare.
can get through.
Here's the real lap 1, no lap 2.
You absolutely cannot park there, mate. Oh, I need to know what happened back
It
there.
looks like the vast majority of the field has actually made it through there. He was almost blocking the entire track. That's actually...
I believe that is Costa in the number 9 car as he plummets down the timing board, but frankly is still in one piece despite being on the racing line.
Wow, that was great avoidance by everyone, but what a move from Liam Taplin around the outside of Clay Hill there.
I mean, these things do sound like NASCARs, but we are getting some NASCAR-esque racing here tonight. Elbows out by everyone.
Shake and bake. Oh, that's wide out there from, what's that, Beg?
That's
Beg.
great. Big.
Oh, takes 2 to tango through here, and thankfully lets the other car go through. I believe that is Hignett, and he's now under the pressure of Jackson
Steele.
Steele as he gets turned around. I believe that's the
Steele
second offense for
again.
Steele.
Oh dear, it's gone from bad to worse for Jack Steele in terms of incidents.
Steele
Worse.
probably just needs to take a few deep breaths, just try and get back into a rhythm. He's probably got a couple of penalties coming his way, but yeah, just try and reset, refocus, and yeah, try and make the most of the rest of the race.
I feel that there's that Ben Dyke
Mendy.
will need to give back the position there, given how deep Ben Dyke went at
I think he wasn't sure whether to take the chicane or the original route and kind of just made his own.
He touched tarmac. He went lap.
Yep, absolutely. The split green mean machine is definitely going to be familiar with the steward's box. Ooh, as we have, I believe that is Clune in the 280 goes a little bit wide and lets Hignett through, who's having a little bit of a mixed start, but slowly making his way forward in the safety jag.
And good to note now that the pit window is open. 50-minute pit window will close with 5 minutes to go. Drivers have 2 mandatory pit stops to make. That is very close to off the road for Benjamin Hignett, and he's
Gonna
gone
get
too deep.
stopped. Nope.
Is that in the wall? No,
Is he
he's
in the
managed to
fence?
avoid it.
Ben forgot that the Jag has brakes. Crappy brakes, but brakes nonetheless.
What brakes?
Yep.
Yes.
Do not get any better in the wet, I can say for sure. That's what
Extra
I'm-
cooling.
Extra cooling, yes, absolutely. In definitely in a hot country such as the UK, you do need every bit of cooling that you need.
I mean, it's a scorch right there at the moment. 18 degrees Celsius. Whoa,
Whoa.
heat wave.
Yes, be out in the shorts on the beach with the sunscreen on the pasty white beaches with the
Slip,
pasty
slap,
white people.
slop.
You mean the stony beaches?
Yes, having lived in the UK, it is just gravel beaches, to say the least. It looks like the field has settled down a little bit, and we've got a few gaps across it. Thankfully, not too many deaths, despite the wills of the content team. As I will say, at this rate, I think Spurs will be up by laps by the race's end. It is definitely one of the shorter tracks on the calendar.
Yeah, I'm very impressed with how close the grid is all staying together. Everyone's just sort of taking their time, waiting for an opportunity. No one. We've seen a few instances, but largely, given we are at Oulton Park, everyone seems to be just taking it a bit easy early on in the race. As in 30 minutes' time, we do see the rain increasing, so that kind of confirms the strategy for the rest of the race. Side by side.
Oh, boys.
That is
not where you want to be, but
That's a lot of
does it get
bravado
a
in that
stop?
move.
He uses the banking to its benefit and manages to go around the outside as well. Well done. I believe that is Rackman.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
Rackman
that was
moving
black.
ahead of Keys. That was a brilliant move.
Be interesting now to see that whether Rackmat was being held up a little bit behind Keys, and if like he's going to be unleashed now to see if he can tack onto the back first.
oh, absolutely, I have no doubt.
I-
This is going to be quite a battle between Burrs and Rackmat in the rain,
You
in a couple
say,
of old Jags.
you say Burrs is the GTR master, but I believe definitely a few seasons ago I saw Rackman in a Lexus, so they're probably used to equally crappy machinery to some point.
How dare you say the GDR is crappy machinery?
Oh, no, I love her,
It is
but I
crappy
know
machinery. Come on.
I do not deny. I do not. I will refuse. I will rip off the cotton wool from my eyes, and I will not share. Nitin, please make another one, or just even that little 400Z that you make that a G, please.
I believe the next GTR may be a crossover, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll just have to wait and see.
Modern car market's ruining names. As on the Ford with the Mustang. I hope you mean crossover in terms of those school run cars.
Yes.
BMW Supra.
The BMW Supra. Yes, another one for the people on the forums who probably won't buy them.
Look at just how much. So that overtake between Keys and Rackmat happened, what, not even a lap ago, probably a lap and a half ago, and he's already pulled out a gap and a half to Keys.
So it was 2 seconds to Burrs the lap before as well, so he's already gained a half second.
Yeah, so he has been unleashed a bit off the shackles, so it'll be interesting to see how they go about when they come up on each other and the battle ensues.
I think
you go, Alexa.
Sorry, I think it's worth noting that Burrs, in qualifying throughout Split Yellow in the Spec Series this season, has shown great pace, but given that his ABS has always been broken, the race has always been a struggle for him, and I think he may just be starting to lose a little bit of touch with that pace he had in qualifying. He's just running a bit more wide at a few corners now, and Rackmat's just really hustling on him.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll be on the blower to the team in the garage requesting to get that ABS back up and running. Being Rashmat just closing in, already 0.3 in the first sector of the track. So Rashmat is on an absolute mission to close in this gap at the moment.
Steele has picked up 25 seconds worth of penalties.
When it rains, it pours, unfortunately, and
That
he
is
hasn't had the best start.
So it's a mighty big paddle he's been hit with, whenever that is a combination of the two incidents.
Yeah, combination. He got 15 seconds for the incident with Johnson and 10 seconds for the further incident.
It's interesting to note as well that Keys back to, I think it's Hill, maybe. Yeah, Hill. That kind of little 4-car battle pack there is super close, within like 2 seconds realistically of each other.
Yeah, there's a few scattered battles throughout, but this one for the lead is now really shaping up nicely. 5/10 of a second between Burrs and Ruckman. I think it's only a matter of time.
I wonder how wide Burrs can make that Jag, whether they'll put an extra wide fat body kit on it.
Yeah, very tough track to overtake on. So, yeah, look, it may come down to strategy between these two. So Rackmat may be thinking, look, I might just duck myself into the pits once I get to the back of this yellow Jag. With, is that purple or blue? I can't quite tell from this angle. some very disgusting looking wheels on the Burrs machine. May just want to duck to the pits and try and perform that undercut.
I believe we did see on the start-finish line he was looking for maybe a little bit more of the wet patches on the side of the track, so he might be suffering with overheating. We are in the window though. It is optimum to probably change your tyres. Probably used up the most of whatever they did have, especially at this track. It may even come down to a question of Bears may have got his pressures wrong, which might be accounted for his pace difference from Rackman. Interested to see if anything happens this lap as we come up to the last corner.
Rackman is looking a little bit nicer at this stage in terms of his tyre life. They'll stay out for the time being, probably because the field is very spaced out now, so get stuck by another car, it could be dangerous as Burrs, very loose into turn 1.
That was definitely a slide initiated by not having your ABS on. I can't see myself ever running 0 ABS in the wet in a GT3 car. But yeah, kudos to Spurs for making it work thus far.
It just like look at the two cars themselves. Rackmat's car looks stable, planted. He's just absolutely eating every corner, and like the drive he's getting out of the corners is magnificent. Whereas Burst is kind of like the rear end's all over the show, the front end isn't biting in. So yeah, I think it's only if he can get a run.
Nearly had one there because Burrs had a real snap of oversteer there going through the chicane, and he's got a little bit more again, but he's just holding on. Again, it's just how difficult it is to overtake it or park his butt. Further back, there was a really good gaggle of cars going through there. I think one of them was a lapped car.
Yeah, it's really hard to take your eyes off this front two, though. Unfortunately, they are going hammer and tong. But yeah, as you said, Connor, just Lucas Burr's car, just the front's not quite hooking up, the rear's sliding around, and the Rackmat just able to use less track and just carry more speed pretty much everywhere. So it's really only a matter of time unless Lucas Burrs can just keep the car in the right places at every corner.
I'm very surprised we haven't seen more people in the pits as we look to the weather radar. It is in 30 minutes going to be getting even heavier. It's medium rain. It's currently only light, and it's definitely staying as just as damp. Oh, as someone goes wide, and two wheels on the grass, and is managing. Oh, nope, he hasn't made the corner. Unfortunately, lost the position in the Ben Vintner.
That's what happens.
No, that was Ty going off with sympathy for Vintner there behind as well. Just maybe a little bit distracted by what was going on in front of him, just running a little bit wide at that second corner.
Was it Ty or was it a lapped car? Because it seemed to let them through.
Yeah, may have been a lap car actually.
I believe it was, and unfortunately it was just on the apex at the wrong time for Ben Vintner, which is hence why he went two wheels on the grass. As Rackmat is giving Burrs no quarter given, and is right there with him. As always, Burrs gets a little bit wobbled on the exit and compromises exit, but they do, I believe, have a lap car just up the road to negotiate, so this will be very interesting to see.
It's just the drive. Rackmat is just enabling to get the drive out of the corners just so much more cleaner than Burst can. So I wonder if something pressure related or just maybe Burst had a few slides that kind of, I don't know, grained the tyres somehow.
You can say ABS may be broken, but it looks like he definitely, like you were saying, he cannot really get the power down as nicely as Rackmat is managing, although gets a good exit out of turn 1 this lap.
Yeah, Rackmat just a little too heavy on the inside curb there, just sort of get a bit of an unfortunate bounce that made the exit a bit poor for his standards.
I wonder if Rackmat has even got a little sneaky wet optimized setup there. We're right on board. Looks like it does have, wait for his steering wheel to straighten up a bit there. I do see
ABS off.
ABS off. Yep. TC1.
Yeah, you can see it in the bottom right-hand corner as well.
You are mad, man.
One
Mad
of
man.
the in joke that I'm missing away is running that. But I don't try to understand how aliens do things. Personally, I've given up on that. And having driven a Burrs setup in a GTR as well, that's equally balmy as well. So yeah, aliens do what aliens do. Monkey see, monkey do.
It's all about that comfort, I suppose. If it's something that works with his driving style, then he's going to keep running with it. Oh dear, that got close. Burrs is still managing to hold on. Quite a valiant effort.
Definitely with the undercut being so powerful, definitely interesting to see who blinks first in this fight. Because I think they're kind of just waiting for one or the other to make the move right now.
Yeah, they'll almost be waiting for those behind them to initiate their first stop as well, because the last thing you'd want as one of these two lead runners is to box and then get caught up in traffic. So they're probably also keeping an eye on the track map and who's boxing. But yeah, you'd almost want to have both your stops done by the time this heavy rain comes in 30 minutes.
That would be the ideal scenario for these drivers. Because that heavy rain has sort of been lingering on the radar for a little while now, so it probably will come with about 15 to 20 minutes to go. So if they really want to, they could realistically split their stints up evenly. But if we want it, I don't know. Gonna be interesting.
Yeah, you definitely want to have the freshest wet tyres possible when the water really picks up on the track. But hey, these guys are the aliens, so they probably know a lot better than us here in the commentary box.
Absolutely, it is definitely, as always, 30 seconds to change a set of tyres, but Oulton Park being one of the shorter tracks, this is one of the shorter pit lane transits as well, I imagine, as the exit funnels into turn 1 as well. So yeah, definitely one of the shorter ones. Ideally, I think these two want to box at the same time, as Rackmat does pull the pin and enters the pit lane for his first tyre stop.
People got to be careful entering the pit lane too, with the little kink that's right at the start, as that car behind almost just smacks the wall.
Having found myself entering sideways and then ultimately backwards, having caught that bump with an Audi, I can say yes, it is. You want to be very, very careful, not jam on the brakes too hard, because you will find that bump.
Now, Burst here, realistically as well, has to absolutely push that Jag to its utter limits this lap, and probably really come in at the end of it to just cover off Rackmat.
100% for sure. And I'll be hoping with the gap between them being so tight, if you miss your box even slightly, you have to get shuffled back, shuffled sideways, then that is going to be done, dusted in my opinion.
Rackmat has executed that brilliantly. He's just gotten ahead there of a few cars and has plenty of road ahead of him.
Yeah, that was very very fortunate for Rashmat. There were a couple of cars coming up, but he managed to sneak out just in front of them. So he's got about 6.5 seconds to work with to just push up to the cars in front of him. But yeah, I wonder if Burrs will enter the... Oh, he looks like he's actually gone around for another lap, so maybe trying to do it...
Burrs is still hasn't quite...
Yeah,
he's gone now, he is now going around for another lap.
He is going around for another lap, so maybe going... Oh, it's risky, but a 2-lap overcut probably could still work with these wets. They do take a little bit to come up to full pace. As you see, Rackmat just take a lot of curve there. That would not have been ideal for his outlap.
No, you want to miss that. Ideally, miss the big sausage curve on the right-hander, but cut as much as you can on the left hand to get as far left as possible for the second right-hander. Interesting call from Burrs, especially since that he was arguably not the pace setter of the two for the most part. Did look like he had a little bit more in it once Rackman had caught up initially, but yes, it will be very interesting to see what he does.
It is a bit of a gamble. But if anyone can kind of perform a bit more, as he goes off the track.
I was going to say
it
gamble
lost
like
him a
running
few
away.
seconds.
Yes.
Yeah, he lost a few seconds there. But if anyone, I still think if anyone can pull off an overcut, it is this man, Lucas Burrs.
Definitely not impossible, but running wide there, I don't think it would have lost him too much time, but I think it will still be time lost. Unfortunately for Lucas, we'll see if he boxes this lap round.
He's gonna keep going.
He's gonna keep going. Interesting. All right.
Maybe he's banking on a bit of this traffic.
Chris Taylor.
Yeah,
makes
that is true. It looks like Rushmut is already coming up to some of the cars in front of him, so maybe he's keeping one eye on that track map.
And Rushmut will have to deal with these drivers properly, whereas Burrs, he has the benefit of the cars in front being blue flagged.
I believe that is Kidman that Rackman is now up to, and that is for position. Like you said, that is not going to be a blue flagged car, so that is going to hamper him to say the least. He'll be hoping Kidman comes in at the end of this lap. As Chris Taylor makes a good question in YouTube chat, will take a lap to warm up the tyres for Rackman. I'm sure it probably would have, but right now, obviously, they will surely be up to 10.
It's the thing as well with performing an overcut like this is that Burrs is still kind of in control. He can apply the pressure by just banging in consistent laps, and as you've just said just before, everyone has to get out of his way, whereas with Rackmat, a couple of cars are still genuinely in front of him for track position.
That got a little bit close, but
Yeah, a bit awkward.
it worked. I don't think Burrs would have lost too much from that. Although I think with the gap that Rackmat now has to beg, I think Burrs may need to take the option of pitting now.
Yep, it's Kidman who was in front of Rackman's box.
He's staying out.
He's
He's
going
still
around
staying
again.
out. Maybe when someone needs to update it, maybe he hasn't seen his health, but I highly doubt it. Alien do what Alien wants to do.
Maybe he's filled the whole tank up. Maybe he's going all the way, the alternate strategy of all the way to the end, and within the last 10 minutes, there's going to be 2 stops.
I think he just wants to make us commentators and like mugs. It just does the opposite of what needs to be done.
He's listening to us, and every time we say he's going to box, he decides that
He wants screen time. That's it.
Alright. He's staying out then.
So yeah, Burrs will stay out to the 50-minute mark, and then, as Connor said, perform 2 pit stops in a row. Graham Hill all over the back of Taplin. Just having a look down the inside of the final corner, nothing doing there. As Taplin keeps it narrow on the exit. Actually a bit of a smart move there. Just delay the throttle for Graham.
I think
That's tight.
How did they get through there?
I think I've understood, because Burrs is not the only car out there. Like the aforementioned Taplin is still out there with 2 stops to go. I think they're waiting to see what the weather does at the end for a potential. They want to save a stop, maybe for dries at the very, very end.
It's not going to dry out at the end. There's 33 minutes to go, and in 30 minutes it's going to still be pissing it down with rain.
The only thing, boys, he sets it up and he forces the move, and Taplin thankfully sees him coming.
Holy.
Burrs is in the pits. Burrs is in the pits.
He was listening.
Yes!
The reverse psychology has worked. Burrs has entered the pits. As now Rackmat is stuck behind Grant Begg. He's closed that gap very quickly. It would have cost him a fair amount of time just navigating that chicane behind Begg. We don't know how many corners he was stuck behind, but he has cleared. So it's going to be very interesting to see.
I think Rackmat should have Burrs pretty easily, just because of the mistake that Burrs made.
He wants to be moving very.
He's
He is
moving.
now.
He's moving.
But he's a fair way back in pit lane, I think.
Yep, he's one of the first boxes. Flies past.
Yeah, Rashmat has got him easy.
Done deal. Ooh, as Beck goes wide, it looks like he loses a position to a lap car.
Now Burrs was managed to stay ahead of the lap car, so they're still sort of together on track, but Rackmat's gotten ahead.
Now, Mr. Chris Taylor in chat here has pointed out an interesting strat that I don't see very often. Mr. Hignett has actually performed 2 stops before the 30-minute mark. That is...
He did box very earlier on the second or third lap.
an interesting way to go about it. I'll be interested to talk with him about what his thoughts were on that one after the race.
If gap car, but pit lane.
Yeah. Probably.
Absolutely. He'll have to make, at the very least, the tyres last to the end, but more importantly, at this track in particular, make sure he has some pressure in those tyres until the end as well.
Oh dear.
Got a car, unfortunately, got in and hit the wall as rejoined on the day, thankfully off the racing line. In our camera 2 and then suddenly in our camera 1 perspective.
I can guarantee, touching on Benjamin Hickman, is that he is drifting right now. He's drifting everything as he loves a fat drift in the Jag.
Probably not the fastest way around the track, but it's certainly a way around it.
How do you distinguish between a drift and a skid?
Yes.
One's in the Macca's car park and one is...
And one has pit vipers on and one doesn't. Ah, you're letting us down, Ben. You're letting us down.
Gave him all this screen time, but not one skid.
Oh, there we go. Chris Taylor. A drift is fast, a skid is slow.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
I think we need video evidence from Chris himself, though, just to really reassure that fact.
Burrs is gaining a little bit on Rackmat, but I think he's going to struggle in the long term on his tyres just because he is running no ABS.
Yes.
This has been a little bit of a pattern for Burrs so far in the Spec series, is he's done these later pit stops, tried to get the pace advantage on the overcut, but has often just faded a little bit in the latter stages of the stint.
I think someone has just hit the tyre bundle up ahead, as you can see a yellow on track. Unfortunately, when you do go wide at the long left-hander, you are either getting the car stopped or saying hello to the rubber bundles.
It is a good thing that those rubber bundles are solid.
Yes, frankly. Not good for chassis makers, but good, frankly, for anyone who is going through what I believe is the Shell Oils corner.
Yes, indeed.
Track now.
Here's Liam Taplin in his aptly named dog of a car.
The question to chat, what are your thoughts on Oulton Park? I personally, I like all British tracks personally, but I might be a little bit biased due to my passport. But I really like Oulton Park. It's a nice change. I think a lot of European tracks have their own sort of distinct style to them, and I think Oulton Park is nice and refreshing, as that's all about to make my case.
Oh no!
He's gonna navigate it.
He's pulled it up. He's pulled it up.
He's done a good job. As Ben Vittner, he manages to get the car slowed down, thankfully. And unfortunately, I think this is going to be a two-wheel on the grass situation. Oh yes, as it is. And threads the
and he
needle.
just...
Thankfully, had arrested the speed by then.
The way he thread the needle in that gap, Ben Vintner, Bloody hell.
That shows you how pro he is. Even when he goes off and makes a pro move of it.
Oh, it's tight.
There's a lot of cars going into one corner.
Beg still has not pit at all yet. Oh, now he is.
Ah, there he goes.
There we go. Scripted.
And Kranich doing Kranich things has not pit yet either, but has a 10-second penalty.
Shout out to Layla Bell.
Yeah, I was just going to point that out.
Qualified P8 or P9, I believe. Very, very good job in very tough conditions to make her way up into current P3 net position, as she has done her first pit stop.
Yeah, very well done by Layla so far.
I'd just like to point out as well, Chris Taylor, who seems to be feeling the chat tonight.
Take a breath, Chris.
You, good sir, need to take your Silverstone slander and get out of here yourself, alright? Silverstone's a great track.
It's one of the best tracks for racing.
Silverstone is one of the great tracks of all time, but I would just also like to note that Stetson over Oulton Park. Alright, thank you.
I'm just getting rid of Brad now. I'm just going to delete him.
Park. I think they're like equally.
Much better track than Oulton Park.
I think Snetterton gets a bad rep. I have barely seen it racing in this game. I'd like to see it on sprints next season.
The only one I'd like to see in the min is Brands Hatch.
Oh, that's a controversial comment. Wait for the chat to be filled up.
I agree. Brands bin, Snetterton better than Oulton Park because Oulton Park is mid.
I'm going to mute you all in a second.
I like the ball. I like
and
the ball.
Spa is actually a goat tier track, Mike.
No, it's not. It's the worst.
Glad.
That is not the way you want to be facing on the main straight.
Did it
what's
happen?
happened here?
Did it happen? Did the pit lane thing happen?
Oh, he's already damaged. The bonnet's already up on his jacks. Ooh.
Oh, closed in on.
No.
Let off the
What
throttle,
is
man,
that?
please. Well, that's unfortunate.
That was a bit.
I think that was a bit of eagerness over apprehension.
Yeah, I don't think you want to drive backwards that far into the pit lane. Yep, just return. Yep, that's a smart move.
4/10 of a second between Burst and Rackman, and there is blue flag traffic ahead. Oh boy.
The tables have turned, the roles have switched. The hunter has now become the hunted.
Oh, how the turntables.
How many lap of an overcut did he do? Like, was it 5, 6 laps?
It was about 4 laps.
So yeah, his tyres will considerably, like, yes, he is running no ABS, but his tyres still would have quite a bit more life in them than what Rackmats would at this point in time. So probably a bit of that coming into play too.
I don't know, maybe those back in the garage have got that ABS working for Burrs and he's picked up a bit of time, but
Maybe
it doesn't look like it's still off.
Still on.
But yeah, it's interesting. He's just found a bunch of pace with Rashmat.
And yeah, he's really hustling Rackmat along now. You can just see that Rackmat's having to push the limits of that Jag some more. Turning that Jag into a Jag.
I love the audio crackle there. It happens. Go full Jag.
The Jag.
God.
So yeah, just Chris noting the light rain probably killed the wets pretty quickly. I imagine we'll see a lot of people jumping into the pits within the next probably 5 or so minutes just before that heavy wet rain hits. And should be heavy right until the end. So you don't want to be on these slightly worn wets when that heavy rain hits.
Yes, Benjamin Hignett.
Absolutely, yes. Ben Hignett is going to be regretting his early stop, I would say. In fact, I wonder if it's a case of maybe Rackman is feeling the heat. It is still a damp track, and one of those tyres are just maybe overheating a smidge. As there definitely isn't very many long stops for the brakes to cool down, and hence the tyres. So it's all going on at this point of the track.
I would love to get an in-car interview from anyone on the grid, to actually see if they're having fun in this car.
I reckon we could possibly drag Benjamin Hignett in here.
Wait.
Oh, Lucas, that is a
Now that's
Lucas,
the drift.
please turn your ABS on. I can't sit
Loved
here
up the
watching this
rears.
anymore.
This drift. Oh man.
Lovely stuff. Take
That's
a
worthy of
bow.
some Eurobeat for sure.
He absolutely has Eurobeats playing 120%.
I was going to say, you've been implying that he hasn't had a beats running this whole time.
Fair.
To be fair, if you're not driving with Eurobeat on, then you're not driving correctly.
Now drift through this corner next time, guys.
You don't deserve your license if you don't have Eurobeats playing. Just saying.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that really took my breath away watching him do that.
Even after that drift, the gap is still so tight between Rushmat and Burst. So Burst definitely still having the edge over Rushmat in this stint. It's going to be fascinating to see who commits to the pit stop first.
Rackmat.
Most likely, yes.
Might be worth for them waiting as there's now going back to light in 30 minutes. Granted, that will be 10 minutes after the race ends. I think it's going to be heavier for this last stint for sure. Might be worth waiting to see how heavy it gets because the track hasn't remained damp. It hasn't gone full wet still this whole time. And it might be worth seeing like how wet it gets, see how much pressure you need to adjust for when it comes.
Grant Beck with his immaculate team name of Macca should have been picked.
Very
Ooh.
original Grant Begg. Come up
Not
with
like I've
something
seen him
new.
try anything else.
I would like to see Grant Begg in a camp chair. I want to see him get out of that office chair.
Yeah, that's
Neville, that's
get
a
out of
tough throttle, your dog Grant. All right, 15 seconds for Grant. Come on.
That is 50 seconds in the chair by the sounds.
And he's got a bit of damage there. Does Richardson? Oh boy. Oh, Rackman, that's close to the outside.
Rackman
Oh,
really
the
likes to go
deep.
deep.
Oh, first had to think about it.
It's really fascinating that Rashvat had the advantage in the first stint when they both started, obviously, on the same. They both started with similar pressures. Obviously, they both started with brand new tires.
They probably started with max pressures each.
Yeah, exactly. It's fascinating that Burrs really has a big advantage at this point. Like
Probably
the
still on max pressures, really. Like,
Yeah,
if you're
the
not
over-
on max pressures, you're not getting the pace out of the car. As simple as that.
the overcut really couldn't have been that impressive with the tire wear at this point. So maybe Burrs has just slowly worked out how to find the pace in this Jag, and yeah, Rashmat's got his work cut out for him for the rest of this race.
Track is wet. Track is changed to wet.
Will Rashmat commit to the pit stop this lap, or will he just keep going? No, it's going to keep going around. So we'll keep this battle going. Just listen to this Jag purr down the main straight. As, yeah, just little spurs. Trying to carry a bit more mid-corner speed, hurting him a bit on the exit there. And obviously Lucas has the spray to deal with. Got a double yellow coming up. Where is that car? I was a bit off into the tyre wall up there. I'll see quite who that is, number 280. Can't see who that is on the leaderboard, but they look like they're back on track. Ask Luna, obviously having a bit of a mare. Yep, easily done.
Off into the green sea. And comes to a stop and flips it around. Oh, almost camouflage. Ooh, careful on the rejoin. He'll hopefully have two eyes on the track map to see if there was anyone coming.
Yeah, look, SBR Racing just pointing out that Burrs possibly adjusted tyre pressures for this stint. Possible that maybe he just didn't want to run the max pressure wets for that first stint. Just seeing if they if the regular pressures worked for him. But yeah, perhaps he's just decided, you know what, max those puppies out. Let's go for the win.
Indeed. Now it's got to where there is a little bit more spray. I think you can see it on the screen now. See, and Burrs is a little bit pulling away from Rackmat. Might have just had a moment or two in the last lap. Well, as I say that, it pushed right up in turn 3. And then Rackmat gets a good exit as well. One mistake can be the mistake in these conditions on this track, for sure.
Yeah, well, something has changed, so I'm guessing there is a high chance that he did run normal-ish pressures to start with to see what would happen. And it's kind of converted back to the max wets, the balloon tyres.
I've also just noticed that Mr. Fluky Lukey is in the YouTube chat commenting that he's got 5 minutes worth of damage. How on earth have you managed to get 5 minutes worth of damage, Mr. Luke Johnson?
That is just a little bit of damage.
Just a minor amount of damage.
You sure you didn't return to garage?
'Tis but a flesh wound.
I think with 5 minutes of damage, you don't need. You leave with a new car essentially. Oh, his Burrs roll over the rear.
You got plenty of time to do a shoey there, Fluky, with the 5 minutes.
5 minute penalty, can go into the porta potty and have his own little bathroom break. If anyone remembers that one.
There is actually a rule within OR's rulebook that if you obtain 5 minutes worth of damage, you do have to do a shoey. So Luke Johnson will be awaiting that one, as Lucas Burrs still on the back of Rashmat, just making sure he's well aware of his presence. Both of them look like they're probably struggling for a bit of grip out there as the wet has increased. Here we go, Luke Johnson replay. What has he done?
I reckon he's gone onto that green ice. I reckon he's ate the curve.
5 minutes, Luke, you reckon? I don't know.
I reckon that was a bit of return to pit in that.
Yeah,
I think he's got a dodgy mechanic. He's probably got sold in. It's going to cost him 50 grand as well.
I think he's making excuses in the YouTube chat here.
I was going to say, like, I heard Luke Johnson's, been not up on his Shuri game. Does he owe more than one car?
I mean, he has had 2 race wins. Correct me if I'm wrong, Connor, I believe he's had 2 race wins this season. So I believe he is down 1 Shuey for this season.
Yeah, honestly, he's down 2 now because we don't have enough. He's doing 1 in the middle of the pit lane. You know, it's wet. You know, you may as well. It's probably hot there. You know, just get amongst it. As we stay on board with the burst, and there's only 4 tenths separating these top 2. Just in an absolute class of their own.
The burst still staying out there.
This is what we want to see.
Boy.
Two of the best.
Would have pulled out if they weren't looking.
Yeah. 2 of the best operators in OR just going at it in a couple of cars that we rarely see. This is what we'd love to see.
Oh, Burrs has a nice run here.
Rackmat likes to take the deep line and make it a bit more of a V, but you're always worried about the driver putting a nose up the inside. When you do that, definitely can be the end of your days. As I wonder how Burrs is going to fare on with the wetter track with no ABS.
Oh, that's a really nice run there.
Wow, that is a very good run through there.
He's going to have a go. He's going to give a nibble.
He's going to compromise the line of Rackmat a little bit. He ends up compromising his own line a little bit more, I'd suggest. What's his run out here now? Yeah, no, it's going to have to stay this way for now. Again, it's just so tricky to overtake around Oulton Park.
I reckon there's a high chance that Rackman is absolutely sweating bullets too. Like, the way Burst is just filling the mirrors and is just tacked onto the rear end of that front Jag is it's pretty scintillating to see.
Yeah, I reckon neither of them are pitted just simply because they're both absolutely loving the battle on track at the moment. As it looks like Lucas Burrs, he's just tricking us. Looking for some wet track to cool those tyres down. But yeah, they're both probably actually just relishing this on-track battle at the moment.
I think he was selling the dummy, the rack mat in front.
Definitely
Probably
possible.
is, actually.
Bit of a mind games. Definitely a sacrifice, probably nearly a half a tenth or a full tenth by going that wide as the corner curves to the left. Definitely is playing a bit of mind games with Rackman.
So I wonder if the undercut's actually more powerful with the wet tyres then. If Lucas is, just trying to dummy Rushman into the pits and...
At this rate, they're going to be the last cars to pit. It's almost all field has done their second stop. Yeah, Lee LaBelle leading out.
Spec and Kranich get to do their second stop.
As we do have
Rackman on the curb.
In tough conditions like this, though, and especially the track like this that's hard to pass, you have to employ these kind of mind games and this kind of, madness to kind of stick the screws in and make them kind of commit their own mistake in any way possible.
100%. I will say, as we're watching this, we think this gap is small, but the gap between P3 and P4 is right, just even as close as ever as we are with the map as well. You see them right going tit for tat as well, so it's not just a battle for the lead, but also for P3 and P4 at this rate as Lee LaBelle toying the wheel.
Two split green competitors really fighting it out here for P3, P4, and then you have your split yellow competitors out the front for P1, P2 as Bell gets a little bit wide. There's a few drive-throughs further back for Dan Rama and Foxtrot. Bell so far is defending really well.
Yes, when the track is wet, your fastest lap kind of dictates how much of the track cuts you can really realistically take for that stint, and it obviously resets every time you box. So I'd say it's arguably even easier to get track cuts in these conditions if the track is faster, which it definitely isn't right now, but probably was early in the race.
But just as you're saying that, we've got a couple of drivers back in the field with some drive-throughs, so definitely some track cuts being taken.
Oh, Burrs! Just looking at camera 2, he's just gone off.
Oh, yeah. Probably locked the brakes up, turned that ABS on, Burrs.
Well, I think he was sort of braking slightly offline as well, which might have hurt a little bit. No, he seemed to get back online okay, but he just didn't slow up a lot.
Yeah, just probably locked the fronts up or missed the braking point for that one.
But these two have to come in as soon as humanly possible. Rackmat's going to keep going. Burrs is going to keep going. They basically have to pit next lap. Oh,
Lucas, let's go! That was great. Mike, can we get that on replay, please? Thank you very much.
Oh my god!
Deja Vu by Dave Rogers, Eurobeats was on song this time. Look at him go!
Look at the angle!
It's like watching an aircraft carrier.
We need someone to clip that and then edit some Eurobeat over the top
of
it.
Is he nearly gets onto the grass?
Oh no, there was someone around in the background. 450.
450, yeah, looks like Matt Herod just ending up off the tracks somehow. He's around Grant Begg, so who knows what has happened.
He did manage to get it back around. I think maybe he just got a little bit of the grass somewhere and just rather than going out wide, he just got loose.
I think he would have dropped maybe the rear right on the right side of the track and then probably gone through the rest of the corners sideways.
Not ideal.
Not ideal. Not optimum. Not the line. As Burrs and Rackma, if they haven't boxed in this lap, they'll definitely have to box next lap. So I doubt they're going to get, as the pit window's only got 3 minutes left on it.
Yep, they've pretty much both got to come in this lap. don't think it's worth staying at any longer than what they are.
That's gonna come in. Oh no! Listen to me, and then we're just gonna stay out again.
Burrs is in. Rackmat stayed out. Burrs is in.
I wonder. I had a bit of a slide in the 24 hour, and I reckon those wets are screaming red right now.
Absolutely, they would be. So Burrs, yeah, just taking the pain. Got to get those fresh tyres on. Now, didn't see what the see what the gap was when he went into the pits, but
There was about 2 seconds.
yeah, it's got to be very tough for him to perform that undercut or rush map with that amount of time to reel in.
Burrs just has to rely on the blue flag traffic, which it doesn't look to be a lot of it at the moment.
Ooh, looks like he caught the curb badly though at the Britain's chicane. Definitely one of the rougher parts of this track. Definitely be in this lap for sure as he can't
Burrs is
around
moving.
again. Spurs comes out of the pit exits. Needs a perfect lap. He needs rack match. A few more mistakes. Maybe he misses marks if he wants to take the lead, to say the least. It's going to be a 5-minute dash to the end for the content.
You love to see it for the content.
Oh, as I say that, as Rackman goes, and he manages to hold it in his currently drift hour. Yeah,
That was an incredible save. Usually, even in the dry, when you dip that wheel on the outside there, you're off the track in the fence. But
That was so close to just tipping the car.
I reckon that he actually did dip, and he's just managed to get it back in.
Yeah, and there you go. He is now in the books.
Complete show-offs, I reckon. They're doing this intentionally.
like how lucky are we to have drivers of this caliber running within Octane Online Racing?
Oh, it's
They're-
just magnificent. See when Rackmat starts to move.
Spurs is going to have a car in his way, but thankfully gets out. Doesn't hamper him, if not at all.
The Rackmat is now moving. I think Rackmat will have Burrs pretty convincingly.
I don't know. Lucas Burrs is coming up quite
Line
quickly.
is there, he's
This
going.
is going to be very tight on the final corner.
He's got to have more speed.
You're right, Rashman has got him actually very convincingly. He's even made time on extra pit lane. Must have been a bit of a balked pit stop from Burrs, perhaps.
No, the gap's about the same as what it was before,
So Burst drift overtake around the outside of the hairpin. Let's go to win the race. Come on!
yeah, gap has stayed pretty consistent.
Let's see what can be done in the short space. I think we've probably got about 3 or 4 laps till the end. But it only takes the one mistake.
Ooh, right. Oh, that was Morgan Tofik. Getting confused between the green and the black there. Morgan Tofik. Probably seen the back of this Ben Dyke car for quite some time now, but just can't seem to quite find his way around.
Van has actually done pretty reasonably in this race as well. Has kept things pretty clean and consistent.
Absolutely, it's a very stacked split, as we said at the start, with the combination of all, both yellow and green. Lots of very crass people in the top 10 is nothing to shy at the best of times, but especially in this split, with the amount of competition that we have. It's the fight for P3 and 4 is equally still just as close as it was before.
Yeah, he'll all over the back of Bell. Gonna be very hard to find his way past in the remaining 3 minutes and 15 seconds left in this race. Bell a little bit wide on the exit there, maybe a little bit slow to get on the throttle a little bit too early. Graham just waiting, just being patient on the throttle there, gaining a bit on exit. Yeah, Layla Bell probably just pushing a little bit too hard, just feeling the pressure from Graham.
Calm
Very
and
nice
composed
conditions.
is 2 words are required in these conditions. So we'll see. There we go. There's Hill's just got to stay in those mirrors and keep them under pressure.
Layla Bell has shown though to hold off, to do races where she holds off adversaries behind her and makes her cars incredibly wide. So you never know; it could go either way this battle.
Certainly. But I think money's probably more on Layla Bell to hold on to P3 than it is for Graham Hill to get past Layla for P3, just with how difficult it's been to overtake.
Yep, track position is definitely key. Layla raced in a few seasons ago in the sprints, last season, I believe. Definitely a good person to have a battle with. Gives a lot of lot of racing room, and it's not too harsh. And with overtakes, to say the least. But it's definitely doing all she needs to, just by keeping a few car lengths between her and Hill. The gap now is down to 1.6 between Burrs and Rackmat. So he's closing in. Is it too little, too late? We shall find out.
Well, we should be on the penultimate lap now.
As I say, up to 2.3 seconds, so there's been a moment for Burrs, unfortunately.
Oh, and there's another moment for Burrs.
Just, yeah, that ABS off. It's just not working once the car gets a bit sideways, and he still needs to slow it up a bit more. Probably gaining him overall in just being able to stop the car when it's in a straight line, but as soon as the slide initiates, yeah, that's all she wrote. But 2.3 seconds, look, that's probably at this point a bit of an insurmountable lead to Rashmat. But what a race from these two overall. The battle has been immense all race long. There's Moyen all over the back of Van Dyke. Just opened up the line. He's got to send it. Van Dyke's got to leave the space, and he has, and Moyen has gotten the drive out, and he's taken P on.
He got loose though.
Bit of wheel spin over the hump. He's still got the inside line into turn 1, and Van Dyke, it's very hard to hold that outside line there. Sends him out onto the ripple strip and completes the move. Well done, Moyen.
The Inevitable got it done as the leader. Rackmat is right behind him, so that was a good timing from him as well, as Rackmat is now starting his final lap as well. Last call of the draw for Rackmat. Just going to keep it on the black stuff and get it to the end.
Been a very good race from Rackmat. Started P3 and has made his way up very nicely with the well executed strategy in the end and just some brilliant pace.
100%. It's been a great showing from both Rackmat and Burrs, to say the least. No matter how it ends, it's been exhilarating to watch for sure.
Burrs driver of the day simply because of the drifts.
Of the drifts, yep.
I hope we see some drifts from both drivers at the final corner.
I think Rackmat was definitely watching
Rackmat
us.
gave it a go there.
Yeah, he was like, I can do that too. Watch this.
Although, yeah, Rackmat had a really nice drift earlier before this corner coming up. Druids. But he's kept it much calmer this time. And he will round out this hour-long race for the Simagic Spec Series. Split Yellow versus Split Green, coming around the final corner at Lodge, coming over the crest at Deer Leap, and it is going to be Fadley Rackmat for Split Yellow, taking the win in this combined race tonight, with Lucas Burrs close behind 3.3 seconds back.
Well done.
The first of the Split Green drivers in, Layla Bell. She will cross the line in P3 and do nicely. Oh, Keys has got the driver on the last lap.
No!
Oh, don't serve it, man. Don't serve it.
What a
Don't serve it.
performance by Layla Bell, though, to take P3.
Exceptional stuff.
Yeah.
Built up a gap from Graham Hill as well at the very end. Wasn't able to make it. As we come to Ben Wittner, who was quite far down the field, to be honest, in the mid part of the race, doing the 2-stop, taking his stops early. So he's been on those wets probably since the half-hour mark. So kudos to him as he comes across the line in P6.
Oh, Rackmat, there we go. There's the drifted camera too.
It's Stevie Ty and Matthew Herod in P8. And looks like Skikaluna will bring it home P9 and possibly Benjamin Hignett maybe bringing it home in P10. Not sure if he's got any rear tyres left after the race he's had so far, but Ben, if you've got any drifts left for us, Ben, let us see it.
Come on, man. Show us the drift.
He's listening. He's listening.
Yes.
Yep,
Oh, these bats immaculate.
Beauty.
Oh, yes.
In the safety jag, of course. Only the safest way to make it around the track.
Candy flick on the entry. Yes. Oh no, that's going round.
No.
Oh, Ben!
Yeah,
Lucky everyone's already crossed the line, so you can't actually lose that P9. But yep. Lucky for you.
It was a P10 because I think Burr's disconnected.
Yes, P10. My apologies.
Green line. Give it all you got.
Wow, what a race from split green and split yellow. Yeah, that was quite the entertaining race. Yeah,
with
was
your
good to see.
super deluxe commentary team. Thank you, Alexis. Thank you, Brad. Thank you, Rick and Connor High for helping us put this on. We now go to the results. So overall, it'll be Rackmat from Burrs, Rackmat followed by Burrs, Bell, followed by Hill, Bittner, Stephen Ty, Herod,
I think we've got some issues with the mic here, Mike, unfortunately. But yeah. Thank you all for.
Yeah, no issues at all. No issues. Thanks, guys. That was a really good race. It was an excellent course from all of you as well. Yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in. I think that's the best race of the series so far. It's so exciting to watch those two battle. Plenty of other battles up and down the field as well. Just a little bit of rain never hurt anybody.
absolutely. Thank you for moving on cams. Justin Brown for the rest of the drift. I believe it's going to be a 4-1 as Silver and Adams on count. So we'll have P11, Talpik, Mendy, Taplin, Kidman, Begg, Lurie, Rockford, Diarra, Hilby, Greenwich, Jolly, Foxtrot, Beaton, Richardson, Thompson, Greta, Steele, Taplin, and Costa.
All right, thanks. Any final words, anybody?
No, thank you all for tuning into the Simagic Spec series, split yellow and split green combined. And yes, Grant, you did make another boo-boo. So in the sin bin with you. But yeah, thank you all for tuning in. Tomorrow night we will have the Simrigs Sprint Series, split blue and split red. So tune in tomorrow night for some more sprint racing action at Oulton Park. And good night from us.